And my husband looked at me and said, "You don't know what you're going to say?" And I said, "Yes, I know what I'm going to say, but if I don't write it down, I'll talk too long." So I brought notes. I just want to thank you guys tonight. I know that you may not know me at all, or may only know me in name, but I know a lot of you have been praying for me. And I cannot tell you how much that means to me. There have been times that I know the only way I've gotten through is because there are people who are praying for me. I have been teaching biblical womanhood now for about 6 years. I've had different formats, classroom, Bible study. I really have a deep passion for teaching women what it means to follow God as a woman. I love it. Most of you obviously know that Paul and Teresa are my parents. I'm the oldest child, and I would not trade birth order places with any of my siblings for any reason at all. I love being the oldest. There's a lot of perks that come with that. I was only 3 when Brooke was born, so I don't remember becoming an older sibling. I've just kind of always been in that role, and maybe that's why I like to teach, because I've always kind of been the leader. But when Renee came along, I remember that. I became Mommy's helper. She needed me. I don't know what all that entailed, because I was going on 8 years old at that time. But I remember one job, I became an official swisher. Now, if you don't know what that is, then you have never used cloth diapers. See, with these disposable things, you just throw it all away. But cloth ones, if they're wet, you throw it in the diaper bin. No big deal. But if they're messy, you have to take them to the toilet and swish them out before you put them in the diaper bin to be washed. So, a few weeks after I turned 9, my brother Brian was born. And apparently I'd done a really good job at the swishing. Because I got to graduate from switching to diaper changing. That was great. My mom taught me how to put on a cloth diaper. You have to fold the middle in so that there's extra thickness where the wet might be, and also so it doesn't, bunch up around their legs. And you have to pull it up, and for a boy, you want to fold over the top because you never know where they're going to end. And then you put your 2 fingers like this, wrap one in here and one in here, like this, and keep your fingers between you and the baby, or the baby and the diaper, and stick the pin in. And I found out that the reason that you do that is so if the pin goes too far through, you poke your finger and not the baby. When my mom told me that, I knew she had favorites. That's okay, because when I got older and I got to babysit, I got new vets. Because that boy who stood in the corner for hours on end. So, it was really good for me. Not finger poking so much, but being the oldest was really good for me. I learned a lot. I learned about self-sacrifice. I learned about looking out for the little guy. I learned that not every child is the same. It's prepared me for motherhood. Actually, that part Renee taught me. Because my mom used to make us the most adorable matching outfits, and she would never let me wear mine the same day she wore hers.
And I didn't think they were adorable. Sorry.
I learned that a little pricked finger is a lot better than a crying baby. I learned that when all else fails, you can stand further in the corner. I have had other instances in my life when a parent asking me to do things that I didn't think were fair. Almost 2 years ago, my Heavenly Father asked me to live with cancer. July of 2012, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. I probably had it for a very long time before I was diagnosed. Possibly 10 years. There's really no way of knowing for sure. But looking back at the symptoms, I would say maybe between when my boys were born was when I started having symptoms. I've had 2 surgeries, and I've had 2 radiation treatments. And thyroid cancer is one of those things that's supposed to be really easy. My mom got frustrated a couple times because when she would tell people that I had cancer, and they'd say, what kind? And she would say, thyroid cancer. And they'd go, oh, so-and-so had that, and they're just fine now. Oh, so-and-so had that, and they're just fine now. My husband did the same thing. He'd hear about people that had 1 surgery, 1 treatment, never another problem at all. 98% of thyroid cancer patients, that's the case. I am in the 2%. That is not the case. People ask how I'm doing, and the answer is not really encouraging. They want to hear, oh, I'm doing great. You want good news, and that's understandable, especially those of you who have been praying for me. The cancer is still in my body. There's really no hope that it is going to be entirely eliminated. We can control it, at least for a while. And I am not dying of cancer. I'm living with it. It is still there. It's not moving, so that's good. It's just not going away. But there have been so many things that I have learned from this cancer, even though I never would have wanted to go through it. Now that I'm here, I can't imagine the person I was. I can't imagine wanting to stay that person because I have learned so much and grown so much and changed so much. I remember when I was a teenager, I heard a Christian singer say, I told God that if my music career ever gets between me and the message to take my voice away. And I remember thinking, I'm not brave enough to pray that prayer. Music has been a part of my life as long as I can remember. If there's one dream that I always had, it was to sing like my mom. The second surgery that I had cost me one of my vocal nerves. I no longer sing. And if you know my family, you know that was big for me. When I started helping my husband at the crossing, I was his partner, I was his backup singer, and I'm not now. Now I sit at the back and run the power plant so everybody else can sing. And that is not easy. But it's also not that hard. Even now that I've gained back more control than my doctors ever expected of my voice, I'm missing notes. I'm missing volume. And even some of the notes that I can hit, I don't hit right. But sitting back there behind the desk, and God has taught me a much deeper way to worship than just through my voice. I don't know if I ever would have experienced that if He hadn't taken it from me. I'm not going to say that I think that God took my voice because I was too prideful. I don't think I was prideful. But I don't know. Either way, He took it for my benefit. And I have peace about that. I've heard stories of persecuted Christians over the years. And I remember thinking, God, I really want to live for you. And I'm okay with dying for you. But I don't know if I can suffer. This being tortured or watching your family murdered in front of you. I mean, you want to put me on a guillotine and chop off my head, I'm good with that. But just make it quick. Make it easy. I'll give everything. I'll give my entire life. I just don't know if I can suffer. This disease is suffering. Emotionally, it's hard. It comes in waves. The next blood draw, the next body scan, the next waiting for test results, telling your family what those test results are. That's hard. But those waves pass. The physical part doesn't. Of course, my voice is never going to be what it was. That's just one aspect. I have nerves in my neck from my chin out to my shoulders, down to about here, that have been severed. And I do not have feeling in that entire area the way I ought to. The feeling that I do have is through nerves that are still there, but are very much exposed because of all the lymph nodes they had to remove that were cancer-filled. And so I'm very sensitive. Every time I lay down at night and the pillow rubs here, I cough. When I get dressed and I put on my bra and the bra strap rubs, I cough. Little things like that constantly remind me. My husband has had to switch sides that he hugs me on. Because he always used to hug me and put his chin here. And this side is the side that's sensitive and he can't. It'll make me cough. And sometimes that coughing can get very severe and turn into like a gagging. I went for a very long time not being able to eat anything spicy. Even now my airways don't work quite right. Sometimes I can choke just on my own saliva, or if I'm cooking and breathe in a spice, where I never used to be sensitive to that type of thing. It'll set me off, gagging a little bit. Those types of things I deal with on a day-to-day basis. And then the knowledge that my cancer is so tenacious that it has resisted the treatments that they've given me. It gives me the knowledge that most likely this is what I'm going to die of. Now, it won't be tomorrow, and I feel just great right now. But they say, statistically speaking, most of us will die of either heart disease or cancer. So I pretty much know which one's going to get me. So that eliminates that unknown. I'm okay with that. But cancer is not a fun way to go. It's slow and often painful and complicated. And I think of all ways I'd rather die than cancer. But this is what I face. Am I absolutely sure? No. I could get in a car accident as I pull out of here and be gone, and my wish for a quick, painless death be granted, and that would be great. But, not today, obviously. Sorry. But these are the things that I have had to deal with, that I have had to come to terms with. And I'm okay with that. I have peace. As I began facing some of the test results, I have had a momentary meltdown or two. I really try not to do that around my family. It's already hard enough on them. But I have a few friends that I can spill out on, and then once I get myself under control, I can share my concerns or my emotions in a more calm way with my family, and that way they can deal with it in their way, instead of hurting and trying to comfort me at the same time. It's very hard. And it's hard to see them hurt. It makes my difficulty even worse. So I was in the car, and I just kind of blew up and blubbered all over. And I said something that I didn't even know was a fear. I said, I just don't want to be the girl with cancer. I don't want that to be what people think when they look at me. I want to be me. And of course, for my family, I'm not that girl. But for people that just know me or know of me, that's who I am. My scar is very prominent. It's something that your eyes are drawn to, and you think, oh, that's right, she has cancer. And so I had to come to grips with that. I didn't want to be that girl. But God asked me to be that girl. These are things that have been deep inside me. The scar really reminds me of, I have just little moles or whatever that have popped up over the years on my leg, on my lower back, here and there. And I remember telling my husband, you know, I don't know why I have these stupid little bumps, but I'm okay as long as they're not like on my face or my neck. You know, I can wear, you know, sleeves, and it's not that big of a deal. I always wear something, you know, long skirts or pants, so that's not a big deal to cover my body. But, you know, my face and my neck, I just don't want people to look at and go, you know, what happened, or oh, or whatever. And now I have this scar, and I actually had a very good surgeon. When the nurse in the ICU checked my stitches right after the surgery, he said, oh, those are beautiful, you won't see that at all. But genetically, the way I scar, God could have changed that. And he asked me to wear this scar where everybody can see it. I think 10 years ago it would have freaked me out. But now I have peace. I'm okay with it. Recently, a man at work asked me about my scar. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm okay with it, is because it has given me such an opportunity to share. And I have had so much fun coming up with fake stories about how I got my scar. But I won't tell you all of those now. He asked, you know, I told him what it was from, and he said, oh, how long has it been since you've been cancer-free? And I said, I still have cancer, and I probably always will. And he said, immediately, oh, God can cure that. And I said, I know he can. But sometimes he asks us to walk through the fire. And that's where I am. I'm in the middle of the fire, like 3 Hebrew boys that lived years and years ago. Just like them, the fire does not have any power over me.
Amen.
Yes, I suffer. I have had loss. My family has changed forever. And yes, I still have peace. People say that God won't give you more than you can handle. And I say that is not true. He will give you more than you can handle. And then he will say, lean on me. He has given me trials that have touched my deepest, oldest fears. But he's also given me his strength. I could never walk through this on my own power. And I pity the people who try. But my God has unending strength. He always sends just the right person, the right verse, the right quote, the right song, at just the right time. Amen. To get me through that next hurdle. He has surrounded me with people who pray for me and pray with me, and even people who have walked through similar trials. He has taught me to focus on the beauty of life so that I don't sink into frustration and depression. He has impressed upon me to use these lessons to encourage others. So here I am, standing before you, not a cancer survivor, but a cancer warrior. Not winning the battle, but determined to fight. So thankful for every lesson I've learned along the way. Thank you so much for letting me come today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I also am going to give a shameless plug for my ladies' event next Saturday. It's called Kiss the Waves. It is born out of the desire to share with women and help them. I have 5 speakers, including myself, who will be focusing on 5 different topics. We're covering finance, physical care, spiritual grief and emotional grief cycles. We're covering the importance of depending on God through those trials, and also very practical ways that you can help someone as they go through those trials. It is $20, and we will be giving to the Shelbyville Crisis Family Center, the Shelbyville Family Center for Family Development, and also the Bedford Cancer Foundation. And if you want more information on that, Renee has all of it. So this has been in the making for a while, and I don't know if it's going to take off and have more events or be a total flop, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So.
Amen.